Welcome back. Yes, I am still here. I didn't go anywhere. Um, I apologize for this long time not saying anything, not posting anything, but there are circumstances that were preventing me from making any videos or writing on the blog or whatever in any other form. I was preparing myself to finish the book about the polar reversal. This thing got derailed a little bit. I deleted twice already the manuscript and started from scratch. If you want to know more about why I was not saying anything, you can check one of my videos that you can see here, and there is a little bit better explanation for what was happening. We are ending stage one of this whole closing period of our civilization. So stage one is almost done. It's going to permanently close in 2023. Then we are going to move into stage two, which is the action, the active part, because the stage one was the preparation, the gathering of the forces, gathering of the elements. Stage two is action, and that action on many parts for many of you will appear very negative, but that's not what it is. And then there is going to be the stage three, past 2030, which is the cleansing. The cleansing process is where anyone who survived will be given support for restarting a new civilization, even though I am saying that survivors will be given new support. However, to continue the human civilization further within this frequency band is not really necessary, because there are ways to keep this project going even if there is no a single person surviving this solar blast or the magnetic excursion. We always appear on Earth when we need it, when when the conditions are in favor of supporting life forms. We may not appear all at the same time, because first we need the environment, like the plants, the trees, and everything else that is needed for support of our bodies, and then humans will appear. In one of the videos I am going to explain that how that is happening. There is so much misconception, so much misunderstanding, because our science is incomplete. Our science is divided, is fragmented, and basically is divided into two most common parts. One of those parts is the science of the materialistic world, and the second one is the science of the esoteric world, the metaphysics. But both are misunderstood. There is, within the materialistic science, we have science, the money-driven science, which is only concerned with making profits and sort of suppressing anything that is beneficial and it's cheap and it's very easy to do or accomplish, because that has other implications, because we are living in a world which is corporate world. It's money driven, is the capitalistic approach, which is sometimes very restrictive. That's why we are having all those issues. That there are many patents that we could activate right now. We could have devices that would be beneficial in our world. However, because of the way we act, not them, not the elites or whatever we are imagining, It is our behavior that is restricting that those patterns are not in our lives. The devices, the technology is not introduced to our life because we are so addictive to that, so we are so dependent on that stuff. We need to remove ourselves from that situation, look at our lives from a different perspective. In other words, there needs to be a major shift of the way we see this world. And then there is this esoteric science or metaphysics, which is completely broken into 1,000 pieces, where many of those parts are in the hands of con artists, which are selling you a complete bullshit. They are telling you stuff that does not exist. Since there is very little chance that we can invent devices that we can measure what they are saying or presenting, therefore they are making up stuff based on a little bit of evidence from the materialistic science, which is supporting that of esoteric science, but then they are making up stuff far beyond that they should. But they are monetizing that as well, because plenty of the esoteric science is being exploited for money and money only. So my job is basically to bring the science, the scientific facts of the materialistic science and the scientific facts of the esoteric science together, where they support each other, where you have evidence. And my job is not to convince you of anything, like to change your view of this world, to have change of your ideology or something like this. It is to present you elements and give you some explanation, so you can better understand that whatever you are believing in or following, where it is coming from and how it works. My job is to give you a glimpse and understanding into the universal principles, nothing more. I don't really care if you're a Christian, Jew, Muslim, satanic. I don't really care, because that's not important at all. As long as you understand that whatever you do is governed by specific universal principles, what the idols are, why we invented them, what's about the religion, where is that coming from, what's about the Torah, what about the Bible, what are those, who invented them and for what purpose. This is the stuff that I am going to be addressing on a brand new channel. That channel is going to most likely start before Christmas, and is going to be for members only. The reason for that is not that I don't want to provide information to general public on stuff like UFOs and paranormal and all other stuff which has scientific evidence supporting that. Because some said to me that, you should do that for free to everybody, because it's a really good idea to educate people on those subjects. That sounds really good. However, there is another aspect to that. I want to make difficult for bots, trolls, and any other extremist element showing up on the site. So this video is an update to what is happening right now in this world. We know that the Queen just passed out, and I have lots of respect for that woman, because despite all the rumors and the conspiracies, especially David Icke and behavior of some people from Argentina, from Canada, because we have those crazy and we have people from Australia which were very negative about what happened, what they were saying about her. It's a display of complete ignorance. They don't understand that she was a supporter of, let's say, natural medicine, and thanks to her, and you can research that most of the organization that she was part of, they were promoting a healthy lifestyle. They were promoting natural medicine, and thanks to her involvement, we have stuff like chiropractic medicine, we have naturopathic medicine, we have Chinese medicine, because she was involved in all those. She was a member, or either she through charities or her involvement in those organizations. We're making sure that they are for us, which most people don't understand. They don't even know. She was member of about 600 different charities and 400 something organizations. So it was not just membership on the paper, because she had really a lot to say, and she was very well respected in the circles where people understood her. Same thing was with her husband. He was a big supporter of news and emerging technologies. However, he was one of those few people that was always very cautious, saying, well, if we introduce this technology to this world, what may happen, how people are going to behave, how are they going to develop another dependency, another addiction, because cell phones right now is a disease. So is the internet. People basically don't want to go outside. They sit in front of the either computer or on cell phone. That's a problem, especially during the lockdowns. People simply got into the conspiracies, and the attitude towards them is really very, very dangerous. So what was happening in Canada, the Freedom Convoy, which was driven and financed by the corporate world, that does not mean that the whole corporate world is screwed up and evil. With every system is almost like with physical body. They run their natural rhythm, and they eventually are obsolete. Same thing is happening with the corporate world. That system needs to be redesigned if it wants to continue further. Same thing is happening right now in Netherlands, where the farmers are trying to keep their own citizens hostages, which is really stupid. But again, it's the corporate world that is financing that. And there is another corporate world with people which understand this complexity of the situation. They want to find a different solution, which they can't, because money talks. And that's the situation that we have right now in the world. And this is not going to go away unless people start investigating this on their own, and they start using their own brains, because media should be left alone completely. It doesn't matter if this mainstream or the alternative, the media which are full of crap. Not all of them, because many of those channels, many of those outlets, they are trying to provide pretty decent material. However, this is not going the right direction. We can see in the world that the weather is really getting unpredictable, very unusual, which for us is unusual. However, those which are following and they are paying close attention, they already knew that many years ago that this is going to be happening. our dependencies on the way we are receiving food through our doors is going to cause a lot of pain. The dependencies on electricity is going to cause a lot of pain because everything in our household is run by electricity. We as individuals, we are very dependent on everything, as I already mentioned. So there is very little effort made to get organized in smaller groups, form on local level some kind of support groups or societies or brotherhoods, or I don't care what it is, to address those issues. The issues with food, the issues with energy, because believe it or not, we are surrounded with energy, with electricity. The only thing we need to do is to harness it. Saving energy is the dumbest thing whoever said that we need to save, or do. We have 1,000 times more electricity than we actually can use. We will never run out of electricity, ever. Not possible. However, the way the system is structured, we are going to be in serious problem. Because we don't know how to, let's say, harness the atmospheric electricity, which is very easy. Tesla already showed you how to do that. We can harness the ground electricity, the electric static that is coming from the ground, and store that in ceramic capacitors, or there are many other ways. We can find still some information about that in India. We can find that in Egypt, in Sumer. There are places where they were using electricity, but they were not using electricity the way we do. And some of the devices that were designed by our ancient brothers, they are still working today. Believe it or not, when the first explorers opened the pyramids, there were columns glowing. That was the first time they came across the LED lights. As soon as they touched them, they went off, and they couldn't turn them on because they had no idea what that was and how that was working. Eventually, some not money-driven scientists figured out that they were those columns, the glowing columns. The illumination is a very sophisticated technology, but very simple technology. It's not. I know this is a contradiction. It appears very sophisticated, but it's actually very simple to do that. And I know that there are many of you that have a little bit of electrical background or understand electrical engineering, and they can kind of go for that. I know that the younger generation, they know so much more about this stuff than I do, that it's just, I am surprised that we still depend on the grid, because we should just disconnect ourselves completely from the grid. We can have a local power supplies where they are independent and they can be turned off when there is a solar storm. They can be safe, and when the solar storm is over, just turn them on. We don't need electricity 24/7. However, because of the money-driven world and the greed and the dependencies, we have lights everywhere, and refrigeration and radios and TVs and whatever. Everything is run on electricity, but it's set up in such a way that is a problem. It's a disaster, and it's gonna crash very soon. There is one more thing. If one day you are gonna be reading my book, because I know you will, some of you at least, I mentioned in one of my chapters that Queen is going to go into hiding. So when Queen Elizabeth died, I said, "Oh, oops, that's a big miss." In other words, that prediction that I made was a miss, and I just put that to rest. Oh boy, turns out that that's correct, and I'm like, wait a minute, how can this be correct when she's dead? See, the Queen is going to go into hiding. We didn't say which Queen. I was like, huh? Really? So, guys, believe me, I have no idea what that means. Many information coming, many of those elements from the download, they are very symbolic. And I just, after I received that confirmation, I was like, I give up. I just don't know. They say, don't worry. What is written is written. You did the right thing. As the time progresses, things are gonna be unfolding in a specific way, and then you will find out what that means. So that's what I'm passing to you. If one of you will come across that statement that Queen is going to go into hiding and she's already dead, just remember that there are many other queens in the world, not just Queen Elizabeth. I know another thing, that Charles is not going to have easy time being king. He's going to face lots of issues on family, the royal family level, and on the outside, dealing with the UK nation or the kingdom itself. There are lots of stuff that may be for him too hard to handle. Queen, before she died, she already set certain safety mechanisms in place to just prevent free fall of this kingdom. It appears that he might be one of the last kings, but I am not sure. I simply don't know, and I don't want to comment on that. However, I know that he is going to have a really tough time, and there is some kind of turmoil coming inside of the royal family. Who it is, I don't know if it's him and Andrew or William and Harry. I just don't know. But there are some kind of issues that are going to arise, and they might be simply from misunderstanding. But everybody's touchy, and sometimes you can say a wrong word and things are gonna go out of control. But this puzzling statement that Queen is going to go into hiding is like, after I received that, I was like, oh, Camilla is going to hiding, and there is no answer. So I do not know what that means. So we will see which Queen actually is going to. Is it possible that Charles is gonna abdicate and put William in the seat, in the driving seat of that kingdom? I don't know. Just we will see how that is gonna go, how this is going to unfold. But to me, I believe that Charles is much more seasoned. He saw a lot. He was paying close attention to what Queen was doing. She was grooming him from the very young age to be a queen. So I think he's prepared to serve that role, to play that role. But how that's going to end, I don't know. However, as I said before, I have a lot of respect for Queen Elizabeth, because despite all the negativity that people are putting forward, like David Icke claiming that she is reptilian or whatever the heck he's inventing, he has no idea what he's talking about. He doesn't understand what her role was behind the scenes. And what is very interesting, and you will understand that at some point, that many of those rich people, those elites, some of them, not all of them. They are very private people. They do a lot of activity behind the scene on the behalf of the people, but they never are striving to be recognized for that. They do that quietly. So not many people know what they actually do unless you start paying close attention what they are involved in and what the outcomes are from this, because there is a lot of negative stuff, let's say, about Masons, but thanks to them, the US has constitution, and actually every other country has constitution because of their involvement. But there are fakes, I will talk about that in some other video, which are framing Masons for, let's say, satanic cult and stuff like that. I will give you names of those people, which are fakes, where and when they start this whole nonsense. I always welcome your comments, what you want to know next, or what more explanation you would like to have. Because during this 5 months period of my training with the unusual beings that I am having visitation almost daily, all the downloads that I received, it's so much of that stuff, but this also was transition on personal level, because many of the issues, the problems that I was having, they were not accidental. They were for few reasons. One, I was supposed to learn certain things, how they come to be, what is the triggering mechanism, what is the how am I causing the manifestations of them. Number two, how I can help others sharing this information, and in what way, because some of the ways that I was planning to do, I had suggestion from them that probably I should change the approach, because this is very biased, and I need to be honest, because the greatest gift that I can do through sharing those experiences or my views or my ideas is through honesty, not through inventing stuff that is not there. It's simply saying as it is, or at least what I think it is, to the honest to the most honest level possible, not to exaggerate, not to color paint stuff that does not need to be colored or twisted. That's not necessary. Okay, folks, so that would be it for today. Thank you for being with me here today, for watching this, and see you in the next video.